Take a look at this list. What do these things have in common? You might be thinking the internet, technology, something like that. But that's not it. They all did not exist when I graduated high school at 18. So the question, how do you carve a path in today's world when you really can't predict the future? I want to share with you 3 questions that I ask over and over again to help me make sense of the world, the work I want to do, and how I want to live my life. The first question is, what are your scripts and where do they come from? Most of us have a script that we grew up with. This often is our parents' script or the people around us. And many people in many countries have a pretty standard script that goes something like this: school, work, retire. However, increasingly, that script is harder to follow, and there are many more options that many people are not considering that might be a better fit for them. 2 things to do to interrogate this is to, 1, start with just understanding where the scripts and your conception of how to live a life come from. This school, work, retire script is a historical accident. For most of human history, this was not the way people lived. It's a result of an industrial work system which has pretty much smoothed out how we work and orient our lives. This has been a huge advance. But in many ways, as we move towards a more technological future, this script isn't going to make as much sense. So 1, understand your script. Where does it come from? And interrogate it a little. Does it work for the people you see actually following it? What do you get from it? What are some of the benefits? What are some of the costs? And then from there, as you navigate your life, you can re-opt into that script. You don't have to not follow the default script, but you should interrogate the one you're on a little and consider, could there be other paths that might make more sense to me? The second question is, what games are you playing and why are you playing them? Here's a picture of me. 2015, my last full-time job. I'm sitting overlooking the New York skyline from a great office and making 6 figures. I'm consulting to CEOs and executives. People look at me as somebody that's successful, somebody that's doing the right things. And I have a terrible feeling. The terrible feeling is that I am not actually living the life I want to be living. And that's pretty scary. How do you deal with that? One way is to just keep going. Quiet that voice. Numb it. Ignore it. And many people do follow that. For me, that didn't work. I needed to listen to that voice. And I was willing to compromise some of the things that mattered to me to figure out another path that might make sense. The game I was playing was one where hard effort and trading my time for money, status, future career paths was something I didn't really want to be playing. I wanted to be playing different games where generosity, creativity, and more ability to structure your time was something I could actually work towards. One thing that enabled me to reflect on this question was an annual review I gave myself. In business school, I created a list of questions and I would rate myself every quarter. How am I doing? I claimed to want to be this person, but upon reviewing this in 2016, I realized I was not being the person I wanted to be. I had to ask myself some hard questions and eventually did decide to walk away from my job. I'm still not making what I used to, and people don't see me as successful anymore. But I'm trying to make sense of it along the way, and I feel like I'm on a much better path and playing a game I want to be playing. A good way to analyze this as a first step is ask yourself another question. What are the things or one thing I'm not willing to compromise on? And this is 100%. You never drop the ball on it. I'm never willing to miss a dinner with my family, or I'm never willing to work on weekends. It might raise some uncomfortable feelings in you, and you might conclude that you need to drop the ball at work. However, asking these questions can make it much more clear. What am I actually doing all this work for? Finally, what's your conversation? By conversation, I really mean the thing that brings you alive. I got this idea from a poet, David White, and he says a real conversation is one that no matter how slowly helps you make sense of the world around you. He calls this the conversational nature of reality. Now the hard thing is one, actually creating the space such that the things that excite you, that energize you, emerge, right? You need to create space in your life. You need to step away from work sometimes to let these things flower and show up in your life. And then two, the hard part, how do you actually listen to them once you hear something? For me, my conversation is helping people navigate their relationship with work. I love writing about this topic. I love exploring this topic. I love talking to people about this topic. And it helps me make sense of my own journey while also helping other people. It's something I'm pretty confident I want to follow for many years. One way to find your conversation is to find people you admire. And this doesn't have to be people in real life, though it's often better if it is people in real life. For me, I like to joke that my only friend when I took my leap was Seth Godin. He has a phrase that says, people like us do things like this. And what I take that to mean is that you're looking for the others, right? Seth Godin was somebody I aspired to be like. And in pursuing my own journey and sharing my story, I've attracted and found other people like me who are headed in similar directions and want to live in the same way. So this is the real power of finding your conversation, that you can find the others. So a question to ask here is, where are the people you need to find, and how can you find them?